Okay, when we provide school education to school learners, and they do not follow our instructions, like every teacher expects every single student in their classroom just observe what they are teaching. That is everyone's wishes and hopes, right? And when children do not follow their instructions, and teachers are very frustrated and struggles and try to find the causes or reasons from the child, inside the child. So they believe it is children has some innate issues or their parenting support, lack of parenting support. So they try to find those attributes in children or their home nurturers, not inside the teachers. So let's just think about as an educator. So what kind of what we need, what children should have, what school learners should have to follow our instructions. The most important, or almost just this is everything, is a cognitive foundation. So it's not about just home nurtures, because we have children with their own innate capabilities and abilities. And then we just, our job, we can just motivate them, just have them experience that exciting, fun, intellectual wonderland, right? So it's let's just put the parents aside, because we cannot control parents. We can talk to parents, right? And then we can invite the parents. However, parents are not inside the schools. They cannot come to school and just control their children or manage their children. They cannot work as an assistant, teacher's assistant, although I asked, some parents did do. So let's see those children, what we need children to be equipped. It is one word is cognitive foundations. And then among these cognitive foundations, what we actually need. So I categorized these cognitive foundations to 3 categories. The first one is cognitive functions and pathways. So cognitive functions and pathways is a psychological term. So we are very unfamiliar. So what is cognitive functions and pathways? However, it is just a simple principle. When information, sensory information, auditory information, visual information, tactile information comes, and children receive those information with selective attention. So we call it a sensitivity. So when information comes, we are aware of sensory inputs out there, right? So our sensory receptors, that is all consciousness. It's not about the real, physical eyes and physical ears matter. It is conscious eyes and conscious ears. They receive information with selective attention, or they will be overwhelmed with all those sensory inputs because they cannot filter out meaningless information and receive only meaningful information. So at the moment, number one, attention should be activated. And then number two, it should be selective attention. So they receive the information and then they process it with what? With sustained attention. So selective focused attention should be activated at the moment of information comes in. And then their sustained focused attention should be operated, functioned to process a whole mental processing, process period, duration. So it receives the information, delivers to brain, and then brain process. That's what we call it, a cognitive processing and mental processing. I named it cognitive pathways. It's all same terms. So during that time, they don't lose attention. If they lose attention, distracted, and then that mental power becomes suddenly dropped, and then they forget. Sometimes in the middle of talking, we forgot, oh, what was I talking about? So that happens. So sustained, focused attention should be sustainably go with the mental process period. Then that mental process means we interpret, we organize those received information, and then we comprehend, right? So that means they just assimilation, accommodation process. So it's assimilation, it's like, is that the information I already know? So easily we could have a prior knowledge, existing information, and then we compare and contrast, and then, oh, this is what I know. And then they just safely move those information, process the information to the existing knowledge categories. If it's a new information or just seems like I know it, it seems like I heard before, I saw before, but I don't remember exactly what that was. And then this time I received it, and then it will be a little bit stronger knowledge, right? Or it's completely new information. So school information could be more new information because of new knowledge learning. Then they start the accommodation process. So that information could go to the knowledge system, and it's a new category information. So it's a research, it's a pattern categories. That's the knowledge system, right? So those process is a brain work. So safely, those processed information and students comprehended and placed into the existing pattern categories, knowledge structures, or they create a new category, new schema, and then they just settled that. We say that's an accommodation process. So they are all done, and then we call it the equilibrium state. It's peace. That's a Piaget's term. So we are in peace. That means we are done with. So we store all those comprehended information in the long-term memory storage. That is we call pattern categories or schema. Or in a summable information, we need to respond, and then we respond. That's our output behaviors and acts. It could come out orally, verbally, so it's a speaking, right? Or we can draw, and or we can write, or we can act, right? That's output acts. So we receive the information. It's like a teacher asks questions, and then we receive those questions, and then what do? We process the questions based on our knowledge structures, right? And then we respond our outputs. So we respond in speaking, through speaking, or through drawing, through writing, or through physical gestures. So that's what cognitive functions and pathways. It's a simple logic. It's not that hard, right? So that is the number one categories. And then second one is a cognitive maturity. I call it a cognitive maturity. Many people say just a matured child. So what is a maturity? What do we expect, right? And it is a self-control and self-regulation. It could be emotional regulation, but self-control and self-regulation, it is a self-management and self-discipline. And inhibitory control, delay gratification, right? These are all cognitive maturities. And then third one is a social emotional cognition. So social emotional cognition is like a social science. It's two things, social sense and people skills. So social sense is just act reasonably, appropriately, according to the social context, right? So social circumstance and situations and conditions, we reasonably act. we understand the social sense based on the social standards. And then it includes a culture there too. Then people skills require cognitive empathy and somehow compassion. So cognitively, we can interact with other people while understanding that person's thoughts and minds, right? We feel it and we cognitively understand, and then we accordingly respond. When the friend talked about his dilemma, his struggles, his problems, I have a big story inside me, and then I have some advice for him. However, we control ourselves. Why? What he needs right now is not advice, not mentorship. What he needs right now at this moment, he needs comfort, understanding. So we sense it. So we do self-control and we just put our smart brains down, and then we are with my friend. We stay with them, and then we feel safe. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, I wish it. And your mom a little bit. And so that's what they need. That's maintaining, human relationships and peer relationships. That's a social emotional cognition. These are three categories, again, learning related, knowledge learning related. That is a social cognitive functions and pathways. The biggest one, probably mostly 80, 90%, no, 70, 80% children need this because during the school hours for 7 hours, that's what they require. Teachers require their cognitive functions and pathways, right? And then inside the classrooms to use their cognitive functions and pathways so they receive with attention, right? Selective attention, focused attention, sustained attention. Those three attentions are most critical attentions for learning. So with these attentions, we follow teachers' instructions. And then inside the classroom, we know how to behave. That's cognitive maturity. Even though I want to get up, I just stay in my seat because my teacher is teaching. So we wait until teacher finished her speaking, he's speaking, and then we raise the hand. And then Miss Ko, I'm very thirsty. Can I just have a water a little? I'm gonna be quick. So that's how we control ourselves. So we understand that that's a social context, right? So it's a social emotional cognition as well. We know if I get up without saying, because I'm thirsty, I really, really need to drink right now, still we could control ourselves. So until my teacher finished her speaking, and then there is just, every human speaking has a break, right? Just like a 1 or 2 seconds break. And then at the moment you raise your hand and then let the teacher know, what you need. And then teacher says, oh yeah, sure. Or you even have water bottles under your desk. And then teacher just speaking, you don't want to take that water bottle and then twist it, so make a noise and then drink in front, while teacher is speaking. That's not a manner, right? So those are all social maturity and social emotional cognitions, how you understand the social, circumstance, context, and then, you behave accordingly. So it is really important. So these three are what children need. So when teacher teaches and then children shows those, and then teacher should be able to categorize these areas, and then they have to work on it. It's not just like, oh, the child really needs cognitive maturity and their parents just didn't teach that. That's it. And oh, he just argued with his friends. He has a social emotional, maturity cognition issues. He may have, some weaknesses and deficits. That's it. No, you need this information, this knowledge, so you know what to teach, what to work on. If you analyze their issues correctly, and then you don't have a follow-up actions as a teacher, then who suffers? Who struggles? It's you. You're the teacher in the school, and then you have to spend at least 6 hours with the children, right? You want to have a peace in your job. You want to do well in your job. So every day you feel your self-accomplishment through teaching, and then it will maintain your passion and the excitement. So you finished your work day, and the children are all safely went off for their home, and then you came back to the classroom, and then you organize all days, work, and then just for the tomorrows, and then make sure what you're gonna teach tomorrow, and then on the way going home, you feel great. Why? Because you did your best, and you don't have any one regrets inside you. Because you saw children worked so hard. They observed what you taught. It is a great feeling and great excitement that will maintain your passion and make you continue teaching. That is the most rewarding jobs. Again, teachers need these basic information. And then once you know it, and then you may ask me, so how can we do that? That's with study. Because teaching multiple children in a classroom, it takes a lot of energies, right? Because you have 20 children in your classroom, 30 children in your classroom, you are having 30 characters. You are having 30 characters. So every single one is different. You have 2 children, you have 12 children in your own birth children. You will be amazed. You have 3 children, all 3 children's characteristics and personalities are so different. I have 2 kids, 2 boys. They are so like north and south, east and west, that much far different. One is very active, one is quiet like a philosopher. And then one is like, everything is very goal achievers. The other one is an observer. It's so different. And then I was amazed because my husband and I, they have the same genes, same DNAs. And then one child, it's 80% of me he got, 20% from his dad. The other one is 80% from his dad, and then 20% of me. It's just a matter of they got strengths of each parent or weaknesses of each parent. So it is really amazing. Even our birth children are different. So you have 30 children, and those 30 characteristics are so different. And then their parents' background, how they are raised. So, however, not every 30 children requires your super attention. Most of the children, about 70–80% of the children, they do follow what you're saying. They are okay. Only the matter is 20–30% of your classroom children, you need special attention. During the classroom time, you just walk around, not just walking while putting your eyes on the walls or windows or ceilings. Your eyes on the children, on your student, on your learners. You gave out work, and then just walk and then check everyone's, just glance everyone's worksheets, how they are progressing. The best way is you have just a pen in your hand. You just grade on the spot. You just walk around and then check from whom? Poor achievers. the children a little bit delayed, academically delayed, you just go check them and then give them proactive help. And then you watch them, not just like right away, let me see how you're doing, just let me check. It's not that. You just stay and then glance it and then watch behind the child. So child may not notice you're a little bit behind and watch it, monitoring. Or a child could do it if a child look at you and then, it's okay, John, I'm just watching you. So in case you need my help. And then John, he made points like that. Or, okay, and then he does, and then when he made, mistakes at the spot, at the moment, you provide a prompt, teaching. That is the best one. It's a learning moment. So you just a little explanation, and then John can peacefully move on. So, and then next child, and then next child. So it's not just, you need amazing theory just to teach well. You just basically understand these three, cognitive functions and pathways, how children learn. So, and then cognitive maturity and what they need to equip, and then social emotional cognitions for the friendships, social friendships, right? And then you could have a one-on-one conference with a child if a child is communicable, verbally, can talk. And then you just sit down with the child. If any child struggles with the social emotional cognitions, sit down with the child, listen to the child, not talk. You do not talk, you do not give a mentoring. You just sit down and just ask questions, any kind of open-ended questions. Okay, how was your day? And then they just shrug. And then it's not stop, can you say anything? It's not, because the child doesn't say it. And then that means the child doesn't know what to say. So, and then you just, I saw you today, and then this, and it was very good. Or it was, I could see you a little bit struggled with Brian. So what happened? So it's specifically you ask, and then child just mumble and just, well, and then, and then you just give questions or not comment, give questions to, promote the child thought, think, because many times children are not, yet to think through what they are doing. Even, adults, not many adults really like, live and think and have downtime, and then just get through the whole days. We wish everyone had those kind of a meditation moment, but it is very hard to. So if we didn't practice, and then, so we could do that inside the classroom with the children. Okay, that is a social, emotional, trusting relationship you build with your individual students, individual learners. Think about they are your child, your own children. When you are noticed, and then child has something going on, it doesn't look like, you observe, child is very gloomy or just kind of, not that happy, grumpy. And then he was not like that before. So, something going on. And then you just have like, more big bird's eyes and then watch the child. And then don't just take long. Just a few days enough, because you're an adult, and then that child, you did that, and then you just call for a meeting with a child after school, or just, in the morning or middle of, after some, planning time. So whenever, or even recess time. So you just have a child and then sit on the bench together, and then just casually just ask questions. Is everything okay? And then he said, yeah, it's okay. And then, say, I observed, you're very happy child, and I loved your laughing, but I don't see that these days. So I thought, something going on in school, but I don't see specifically. So is there, your home is okay? Your parents are okay? You could just like, just a little bit, just prompt questions and ask the child. And then most of the children are very honest. And then they may share something bothering them, annoying them, and parents are divorcing going on, or parents are, suddenly just recently just argue a lot, and parents didn't believe their child is watching, but inside the home, whatever parents do inside the home, parents are watching. They are listening and watching, but most of the times the parents believe, since the kids are in their room and the doors are shut, and they believe they don't hear. However, they are very, very sensitive about the adults' voice tones, adults' facial expressions, because they are minors and dependents. Adults are their universe. It's all about the safety and security related matters. It's just like a nature. It's not just like they intentionally do, it's their nature sense. Even though children have intellectually very low, IQs, intellectually you don't believe they understood what's going on. Let's say child has a severe autism, so socially, emotionally, they don't get what's going on. You feel that? No. Every human beings, regardless their IQ, intellectual levels, they have animals instincts, animals sense. Like animal has, they know about the safety and security, right? That is the best. They are actually better than human beings. So human beings, as a part of an animal sense, we have those, and then little children have, even little babies have. It is very important, so anything bothering them, and then parents didn't say anything, but children know what's going on, and it carries to their school life, and then they lose appetite, they lose fun feelings, even though they just play with the children. It's not full 100% joy they have. So as a school adults, teachers, your teachers, however, you still, see other social emotional part, you are responsible. So it's not just only responsibility, because they are children. They are minors. It doesn't matter they are 17 years old or 18 years old, they are just physically taller than you and bigger than you. Still inside them, children. So whatever they do, don't be scared. They are just children. If you tell them individually, sit down with the child across the table, you just touch their feeling and then they cry in front of you. They sob in front of you because they are children. That's why we say age up to 18 is a developmental age, not developed age, right? So birth to 18 are developmental age. So anyway, I just want to talk about this, what really just inside the school children's learner prerequisite readiness are these three categories, and then teachers could use these three as please just remember that, okay? Again, cognitive functions and pathways to learn information. It is very simple, theory is based on the cognitive learning theory. So if you don't remember, you could just check in Google cognitive learning theory, just see that. Okay, the problem is we have a cognitive learning theory, behavioral learning theory out there in psychology. And then as an educator, we are practitioners, right? We should include these theory to learning and school and teaching and all that. But it seems like a theory, just theory we learn, here is education. And it's not really, we are just merging these two knowledges together and then apply and then just understand the children's learning process. Okay, so this is about the learning related, and then cognitive maturity is about the school behaviors, classroom behaviors, every teacher wishes every child behave in the classroom and follow their lessons and follow their directions. So this is a maturity. And then social emotional cognition is about the people's skills and social sense. Children need solid peer relationships so they can focus on their learning. If something bothering them and then something bully is going on, it's a harassment going on, there is no way they can focus in learning, even though they have a great cognitive functions and pathways. So teacher always has a hawk's eyes, you know, hawks. So they are just like a overview. It's more like a visual insights. Okay, it's a mental insights, but visual insights as well. So you are like, you know, seeing whole classrooms and whole schools. So you're 20 children and 30 students, and you observe what's going on. Okay, that's how. If you truly believe these 20, 30 precious lives, you know, you are very important to who you are, right? They are thinking they are very important. So each one is very important, precious. If you have a religion, then you can think every single one was given by God, right, to this world. So we have to respect them. We are here, you became a school teachers to work on each life, to work on each child, each life. That's why you became a teacher, even though teaching job, those monetary compensation is not that great. It's, to be honest, it's embarrassing levels based on what you do, how precious your job is, how important your job is. And it's not only United States, most of countries, teachers' pay is not that great. It's not like a medical doctor's pay or just attorney's pay, those other professionals' pay. However, every single country's teachers became teachers because they love children and they want to make these miracle changes in children, especially children in disadvantaged homes and neighborhood and environment. Those children are very desperate. They are very desperate and waiting for somebody's help so they can get out of where they are right now. So that is a precious job that you have. So I feel like I'm giving a speech, preachy. However, you know, it is a very important job. And I really hope as a teacher educator, I really hope most teachers are prepared well. You prepare well yourself because a teacher has like the children, they have their own nature, and then they have a home nurture and combined, and then they come to school as a learner. Okay, so you're all learners combined, you know, combinations of nature, their own birth nature, and then home nurture, all mixed and come to you. Teachers are saying, teacher has their own nature. Your smartness, your cognitive function, your cognitive pathway, your cognitive maturity, your cognitive social emotional cognition. So you have that nature, and then teacher education, teacher preparation, like me, teacher educators training, it's combined and all school teachers are there. Okay, and then through their own experiences, they add their experiences. So it's a triangle. So teacher themselves, nature, and then teacher education, teacher preparation, how they received that, and then their own experiences. So those triangles together make you great teacher. That great teacher means you see more children learned from you, show proficiency, academic proficiency. That's the most important part because that's a school education for. You know, we have all other parts, but however, school education, all parents believe so children go to school and learn academics well, right? So academic proficiency, and then their cognitive maturity, because they build those cognitive maturities and social emotional cognitions through school years. How many years? 12 years. Children grow up in the schools for 12 years. So when they finish the school education, they are 18 years old. And then after that, we say they are young adults. Because adults, I'm adult, it's almost 60, I'm adult, and then 80 years old, still adults, but they are very young adults staying in the threshold at the door, opening the door for the adult world ahead, right? So they are adults. So it is very important, you know, as a teacher, who you are as well. So while you are in the teacher preparation programs, you have your primary focus should be your preparation, not earning monies and saving monies. I tell my students, have a frugal life. Just have a minimal life while you are studying. I know you have a necessary things to have. Everybody wants to live by themselves. However, you just have a 3 bedrooms apartment or something, and then just have just a 3, 4, 5 peers together, share those apartments. So you can split your housing. Instead of paying $600, $800, you pay just like, you know, $200 or something. You just minimize your boarding. And then food, yes, you have to eat nutritious food. So you just can, if you can, and then just have, you know, make your own food or something. And then phones, computers. So you have a housing close to the campus. You don't have to have your own computer. I know, you know, you need a computer, but it doesn't have to have an expensive one. Just basic Microsoft Office and just basic functions. And then you're gonna use, because the university is spending tons of money to provide all those necessary equipment for students, schooling, college life. So you just use university's computer labs, and then there's a papers there, printers there, so you could work in there while you're living with your peers to save your money for housing, from housing. And then you could use a university library, and then you can study there, right? You can study there, and then you can use just a campus. You just leave campus and then just, you know, do exercise there, use a campus, you know, facilities. So make a minimal life, and then your maximum, most majority of your daytimes, you should work on your study and preparation to be a good teacher. It's not only for your future student, it's for yourself too. You gotta do well, so you feel happiness. Only human beings' best happiness is from their work they like and then do well. Okay, that is more important than your social relationship with your just a love line with a boyfriend and girlfriend, you know, whoever your lovers. It is nice, emotional safety, emotional, you know, comfort. However, we are all humans, intellectual people, right? So the best happiness comes from your self-accomplishment and self-achievement and self-competence. And you are so like, and then it gives you social emotional safety inside because you have a pride, you have integrity yourself, and you have a dignity. You're a very solid person, very solid person. But you have a safety inside, what you're doing, and then you have a just, competence. I'm a good teacher. I have so many children. They get through my hands, and then they will remember me forever. You will live in their memory forever. Okay. So I really hope even my students, any teacher, pre-service teachers watching this lecture, in my speech, really I really hope them just put their priority in learning and preparation to be a good teacher. Good teacher. I see these good teachers are matter of those 20, 30 children living behind inside the school buildings. They can save those children. Okay, we include those children. It doesn't matter. We call them just exceptionalities. So whatever it's exceptionalities they have. They have disabilities. They have challenging behavioral issues. They have emotional issues. They have maturity issues, or they are English language learners. They are just moved from other countries. Whoever exceptionalities, I don't include the ethnic part there because ethnic is not learners' differences. We are all humans, right? We are all humans. So those exceptionalities, it's a learning exceptionalities. Okay, so we say it's atypical learners, not atypical, students. It is atypical learners. That means they need some specialized, attention, the adult's attention, adult's skills. So how many atypical learners you can teach? That is your power. That is your power. That's a teacher's power, right? You're doing well in your job. You're a powerful person. Every school district wants you to work in their school district. Every school district, they have student teachers, very strong special, student teachers. So they ask their student teachers to come to their schools after graduation. They offer jobs. So that is your capability and that is your power. And then who builds your power? You build your own power to be a good teacher. Okay, that good teacher could save hundreds and thousands of children. Later on they remember you. That one teacher. I don't hear many adults say 2 teachers, 3 teachers, 5 teachers. That adults always say one person in their life switched their gears to be on the right pathways. Okay, so I think this is enough, and I really hope you hear this in your heart. And because I talked this from my heart. Okay, and then you just enjoy your future jobs, or if you are currently teaching, and then I really hope you can see yourself and have a downtime and just think about your jobs. And then every teacher succeeds. Every teacher succeeds. That means every children they teach succeed. It's very important. Okay, have a good day.